banging one another like fools and occasionally hitting babies. Crossfire 22s, scrape the street image of fame. Montana locked in their brain. MTV Cribs was fake as two jumbo planes knocking down towers. The true fireman said it falls. Flag ops F-stop. They want a whole planet. Black hands murdered Gaddafi. He got two girls. Karma bust through Secret Service. This is God's world. World star taking advantage of your savagery. Can't text it to your son, so you text it to me. I'm about to go in overdrive. Shoot you with this dope first. Who would stand up if God asked us, where are my angels?
Minister Louis Farrakhan is going to go down in history as the person who saved humanity.
Farrakhan! Ready front? We're marching to position with the sound of his command. Muhammad made us soldiers. We're not afraid to stand. My sisters on my left, my sisters on my right. Allah has got our backs. We're not afraid to fight. Squad drill.
Horny, made you homeless, how'd it start? Piece of the part, lifting up the rock of the culprit. Feeling the pain of my people who survived it, they were babies afflicted. Sentenced daily by the wicked, kick it. Went to the park, couldn't sit there for a minute without Dano running up, saying get the F out with their guns out. And Guinness out, graduated to zero. We used to drink Cisco, pop mess tabs and
lanes knocking down towers. The true fireman said it falls. Flag ops F-stop. They want a whole planet. Black hands murdered Gaddafi. He got two girls. Karma bust through Secret Service. This is God's world. World star taking advantage of your savagery. Can't text it to your son, so you text it to me. I'm about to go in overdrive. Shoot you with this dope first. Who would stand up if God asked us, where are my angels?
There's always a force when you stand up for right in a world.
It's Michael Jackson on the phone. I said, really? Hello? Hi, Minister. I just called to wish you a happy new year and to say that I love you and my family loves you, and I thank you for everything that you did to help me. And I said, thank you. And he's over in Bahrain, so I gave him the greeting, Assalamu alaikum. And he returned it. And I said, well, I'll be over in that direction shortly, sometime soon, and perhaps we'll get a chance to meet. Thank you for your call and whatnot. Now, when he first called, a couple of years ago, my daughter answered the phone. She said, hello? This is Michael Jackson. She said, the Michael Jackson? Well, I mean, that's how blown away a person is when they hear the voice of someone of great magnitude. That's the picture I'm trying to get. Well, imagine how blown away Moses was. That's what I'm talking about. According to the Quran, he didn't see a person, but he heard a voice. That's good enough. And the voice wasn't talking from the sky. The voice was talking out of that light. Moses, take off your shoes. Bible, ground where you stand is holy. I got an assignment for you. Now this gets interesting, you know? Wow, man. Me? Moses had already killed a dude. So don't feel bad because you killed somebody. You might get a call one day. Just don't go out killing nobody thinking you're going to get a call. The next voice you hear will be the sheriff and the judge. But Moses had killed this man, yet he was favored by God. Though he had murdered a dude, somebody who was persecuting his people. And God never said, you know, Moses, you wrong. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to bust you out for that. No, God said, Moses, take off your shoes. The ground where you stand is holy. It's not holy because you're holy. It's holy because I am present. And I am standing near you. And now I choose you. Whoa. I choose you to do what? To go to Pharaoh, the biggest criminal on the planet at that time, and tell him that I said, let my people go. He didn't give him too much more than that. But good God, that was enough, wasn't it? Imagine the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in a cave in Mount Hira, where he usually would go to find solace and peace and pray, and he hears a voice saying, Iqra, read. You can't fathom the effect of that on any person except the person who hears it and comes from that experience glowing because God was present and is missioning that person to do something so big. Now, a visit by God is a demonstration, a completely magnificent demonstration of love. Because God, if you think about him, would be in the most exalted place. And in the night journey of the prophet, when he goes from Mecca to Jerusalem and then climbs up into that place where no other person could go, not Jibreel the angel, he went in alone to the inner sanctum where he and God had conversation. I don't know how all that went down, but I know that's a profound experience that demonstrates that God cares. Because now he's going to guide a human being to deliver a people who are oppressed. Now, to move quickly, the New Testament, which is called the Testament of Love, talks about God putting on flesh and coming among people. Now, to Muslims, that is foreign, strange, and not true. But Christians believe that God put on flesh and came among human beings to suffer, to redeem a people and a world that was lost under the grip of Satan. Now, can we harmonize what Muslims think and what Christians believe? In the book of John, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Stop. This book, Quran, has many names. Every attribute of the Quran is the highest manifestation of the characteristics of God. He's mighty, he's wise, he's the best knower, he's the light, he's the beneficent, he's the merciful. Huh? Well, if this is his revealed word and you eat it, and since man is what he eats, if you eat the word of God and live the word of God, then God lives in you. No, part. I want you just to think. The greatest demonstration of God's love is that he would knock on the door of your mind and offer you an invitation to receive him. His word is him. His word, the word of the book, has the power to transform human life. It has the power to give sight to the blind, hearing to the deaf. It has the power to raise something that is mentally dead and give it life. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. And the Word became flesh, and that flesh dwelled among men. And the light shined in the darkness, but the darkness comprehended it not. And he came unto his own, but his own received him not. The Bible talks about the coming of the Son of Man. This is the man you call Jesus. That he would come without observation, as a thief in the night. Well, why are you coming? Because I'm going to make myself known through a people that is no people at all. And I'm going to make them my people, and I will be their God. I have a mission for them. Since the world has gone into darkness and bestiality and debauchery, I now have a mission for this people to be raised from the condition that they're in, purified, and then sent to clean up a world. But I'm coming without observation. A man, he's a human. Well, how could a human manifest God? Brothers, sisters, the Bible speaks of two men. The Quran, pardon me. Messiah and Mahdi. Both men, humans. But the Messiah is going to be taught by God the wisdom and the book, the Torah and the gospel. He's going to raise the dead to life. Boy, it's something. He's going to determine the form of a bird out of clay and breathe into it, and it becomes a bird by his permission. Yet he's a human. And in that human is that kind of power, then that human is a manifestation of the presence of God. Or the traditions say that. The Mahdi, according to the words of Prophet Muhammad, and this is a very powerful human being. He said that the Mahdi would come out of the family of Muhammad. And he would break the cross, kill the swine. He would set down every tyrant and set justice in the earth. This is not Muhammad of 1,400 years ago. This is not Jesus of 2,000 years ago. They brought a word, but they never set justice in the earth, and they never took down the tyrants. Now listen. Jesus prophesied one coming after him. Very sorry, but Prophet Muhammad, even though he brought the Quran, which is a law, he was not a man like Moses. You don't want to think much of yourself. You don't want to believe that you would be loved enough, that you would be worthy, or not worthy, but would receive a visit from God in a human being. I want to introduce you to a human that loved us. I want to introduce you to a man that I never personally met, But I am thoroughly convinced of his matchless love for us. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Farad Muhammad came to us from the holy city of Mecca. I can't prove it or disprove it. All I can say is the believers believe in what Allah revealed to his servant. The messenger believes, and so do believers. I believe it. That's my foundation. I never saw him, but I saw a witness of his presence. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he left Mecca, and those of us who have been privileged to go to Mecca, that's a place generally where people strive to live right. It's very hard on you if you don't. Very hard. When I first visited Mecca, there was a money changer there, and you could look at his safe full of money. American dollars, reals, dinars, whatever the currency was of the pilgrims that visit, that was there. And ain't nobody saying this is a stick-up. I mean, they just understand. We were in a shopping mall in Jeddah, which is a few miles from Mecca, and we went to pray, and Brother Jabril evidently put his watch down and forgot it. Well, it wasn't a Rolex, but it was a pretty nice watch. But a few hours later, we went back, it was still there. You can't even imagine living like that, brother. Not where we live in the ghetto. You can't imagine a whole lot of money open where you can look and see, and ain't nobody saying this is a stick-up. And when it's prayer time, all the merchandise that they sell, they just cover it with a sheet and go pray. And prayers, you know, they last maybe 20 minutes. When they come back, everything is in place, because if we catch you stealing, we don't play. We chop off your right hand. It's done very public. There's no such thing as going to Cook County Jail and hiding and talking about what you didn't do. When they catch your backside, they say, oh, really? Right after Juma prayer on Friday, in a very public way, your hand is chopped off. And when you're walking around with the nub, everybody say, oh, that dude there. And if you steal again, then the left hand goes. That's harsh law, brother. There ain't too much stealing going on. I remember when we were there, a Filipino girl was raped. Oh, man, it was a big to-do. They took the rapist out in the stadium. Stadium full of people saying God is great. Oh, yeah. And cut his head off. See, we don't have prisons that you can hang out for a long time in. They just kill you. And guess what? You could be 12. We don't have no law over there that says because you teenager, we ain't gonna kill you. You acting up, then fine, just get rid of you. Boom, boom, boom. Now, imagine a human living there, leaving there, coming to America. I mean, just think about it. Master Farad Muhammad, our teacher taught us, he came here by himself. 9,000 miles by yourself. You didn't come with your buddies. You didn't come with your posse. You came by yourself. Isaiah the prophet said when the God would come, it said he would look around and there was none to uphold him. So his own right arm, it upheld him. He came alone. That's some love, man. You don't send a prophet, you come yourself. Now you may say, well, the man wasn't God. You can believe that. I mean, it's common. How the hell we know he's God? Well, let the lights go out, and you stand up, and I stand up, and he stands up, and she stands up, and none of us could fix the light. And then some dude comes out of the back and puts the lights on. You don't have to ask, is he an electrician? His work bears witness of him. See, God does not announce himself. He comes without observation like a thief in the night because he's coming to get a people that are the captives of another people. That's you. Lost sheep, lost brother. The white man got you, and he does not intend to let you go. He's holding you now, even though he don't have nothing for you to do. You don't have a job or an outlook for a job. He's closed his society down on you. No health care, bad education, give you the worst kind of food, fill your community with drugs and guns. This man don't have no love for you. His desire is, listen, his desire is, since he knows that the future is for you and not for him, he's going to hold you hostage so that if God is going to get after him, he got to get you too. So his whole mind is, take them down with me when I go. That's the way it was with Pharaoh. That's the way it is with the government of the United States of America, where you are concerned. Now, brothers, for somebody to deliver us from the condition that we are in, who do you think they would have to be? And for somebody to challenge the power of America effectively, who do you think that person would be? And for Farrakhan Muhammad to come to America 20 years before he even made himself known, to study. You say, well, wait a minute. God don't have to study. But if he's raising you to reflect him, you're going to have to study. If he's the best knower, how are you going to represent the best knower stupid? So if you are going to be raised up into him, then you have to be a student in order to grow up in his wisdom to then reflect him and his power among people. And for a man like that to come, hidden among us. Because if you saw a picture of him, he looked like a white man, Farrakhan Muhammad. Say, well, what is that all about? We're tired of these light-skinned niggas deceiving us. Why couldn't he have come like a real, live black man? Then he wouldn't have come without observation. Because the enemy, listen to me good, who captured us from the east and brought us to the west, they always knew that one was going to come after us. And they were always looking for somebody that would come out of the east to free you. So the book said he came without observation. He looked like a white man, but he was not a white man, like some of us. I was on an airplane one day with Herbert Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son, and he asked me, he said, why do you think he had a black father and a white mother? I said, so he could deal justice to both people. You have sheep and you have goat. He's going to have to deal effectively with the white man and effectively with his prey. So he comes without observation. And where does he come? I don't know all the places that he visited before he manifested his presence. But he shows up in Detroit. Now, wait a minute now. In Black Bottom, Detroit. Any of you that have been to Detroit, that's like 47th Street or 63rd and Cottage. Or worse. And here's a man from Mecca walking among us who have a foul existence, and yet the stench of our foulness never displeased him to the point where he would reject us. But he started knocking on doors. And when the sister would come to the door and saw this very handsome man, he had silk garment. And yes, what is it? And our women will always open the door to a good-looking man. They ain't, who that? If he looked good through that peephole, yes, what is it? When they opened the door, he would say, I come offering you silks from your people in the East. Huh? People in the East. Now, we don't know nothing about the East. You mean the East Coast? But as they opened the door, he began to teach them of their people in the East. And then he would say, we're having a meeting. If you'd like to hear more, would you come and bring your friends? And then he would teach. But he was looking for a man. This was in 1930. 1931, a man hears about him and goes to where he was teaching. Sitting in the back of the room with a pair of khaki pants on, just 10 cents in his pocket, was Elijah Poole. But Elijah Poole was the son of a Baptist preacher and the grandson of a Baptist preacher, so he grew up studying Bible, listening to Bible, analyzing Bible. So when he heard this man talking the way the man was talking, when the man asked people to join, he came forward. And when he shook the man's hand, he said, I know that you are the one written of that would come. And he said that Master Farad says, no one else knows this but you. And words don't talk about that. Then Farad Muhammad began visiting him and teaching him. Now look, wisdom is known of its students. If he were not a wise man, he could not have produced a wise man. Listen now. He taught Elijah Muhammad for 3 years and 4 months. Elijah Muhammad said night and day. And before he left, in Detroit, they arrested him and ordered him out of Detroit. And he went. A little while later, they arrested Elijah Muhammad. But when he was arrested, Farad Muhammad, he sent for Elijah, his student. And when the student came to get him out, he said, "This is the price you will have to pay to free your people. If you're afraid to go to jail, if you're afraid to be falsely accused, if you don't have any desire to suffer to see your people free, then you don't know nothing about God being love." He suffered, and the scripture says of him, he made himself of no reputation. He didn't tell nobody who he was. And it said he became obedient even unto death. He submitted himself to that which was so much inferior to him. For what purpose? To teach a man whose heart was crafted after his heart, that if you really love God and love the people, what are you willing to suffer to see your people free? He studied, he traveled, he allowed himself to be persecuted, to be ordered out of Detroit. He came to Chicago, and Elijah Muhammad was ordered out of Detroit or arrested, and he fled Detroit and came here. This is not an accident. Why is the Muslim or the Muslim Shriners in Detroit, why is their place called Mecca? And why is the Muslim Shriners' place in Chicago called Medina? It's not no accident. The distance between Detroit and Chicago is similar to the distance between Mecca and Medina. When he's getting ready to go, he said to Elijah Muhammad, "You got to take plenty in order to affect the rise of your people." His demonstration of love was to show his servant how to love us. And it starts with a willingness to leave an environment where you feel a level of comfort, to go where it appears you don't belong, and to demonstrate and find what you are looking for, to make a sacrifice to achieve or retrieve what you love. He knew that Elijah Muhammad had a heart after his heart. He knew that Elijah Muhammad would suffer anything and everything, even death, to free us. And what I'm saying to all of you, don't bother with black people. If you don't have it in your heart to lay down your life for their freedom, then leave them alone. Greater love has no man his life for his friend, for his brother. Not kill his brother, but lay down his life for the sake of his brother. Elijah Muhammad proved that among us for 44 years. Even though his assignment was only a clear delivery of the message. He did everything that he could to show you that God had visited you and loves you and is anxious to fight the battle for our liberation. I used to watch the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I can only bear witness to what was in my own heart. I can't speak for nobody else but myself. Yes, sir. But my love for him was such that I would lay down my life to protect his. And when I was taught by Malcolm X, and I saw him as the most effective teacher for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it would have been nothing for me to give my life to spare Malcolm's life as the most effective representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, most of you don't know Elijah Muhammad. You know of him. You know his student, Malcolm. And you know his student because the enemy wants you to know the student, but wants to blind you to the teacher. Now, there are many, many, many things that Elijah Muhammad taught. That every day that we live, we see it coming to pass. Do you remember the blackboard that used to be in all the mosques across the country? Farrakhan Muhammad set that blackboard up. It had an American flag. When you come in the door, you'd see the American flag on the right, the flag of Islam on the left, and under the American flag, you would see Christianity. Slavery, suffering, death, and a cross. On the left side, you'd see the flag of Islam, and it would say freedom, justice, equality, Islam. In the center, there was a question. Which one will survive the war of Armageddon? And a Negro hanging from a tree in the center. People came in and saw that flag and got shook. Wait, what kind of place is this? Is this communism? Is this, what? Last night, when the ball dropped, my brother Ray Charles singing a beautiful America. Is America beautiful, brother? To you? If it's beautiful to you, baby, something's wrong with your vision. And like Jesus said, you need somebody to put some spittle on your eyes. Now, you ain't seeing too good. How in the hell could a country like this be beautiful to black people and poor people? I ain't talking about the mountains. I'm not talking about the valleys. I'm not talking about the lakes and the rivers. Talking about a government and its policies that wreak havoc on black people, brown people, Native American people, and poor people, and even poor white people. Talk back to me about America. Well, wait a minute, Farrakhan. Either love it or leave it. I don't love it, and I ain't leaving. Not until it's time for me to go. You here. We're after you. God is after you. Now look at this. Elijah Muhammad spends 44 years of his precious life among us. He compares me to Aaron, the helper of Moses. Well, he says from the 30s he was looking for a helper. Yes, sir. I didn't know that I was to be that. I was 19 years old when I heard that God had visited us and chosen a messenger from among us to teach and guide us. I was in Boston, Massachusetts, and I walked up the street, tears streaming down my eyes, and I'm praying, and I said to God, God, why didn't you choose me? You know I love my people. And then the thought came, well, you wasn't even born when he was chosen. So my next thought was to go find him and serve him. I don't know nothing about what you think. All I can bear witness to is what God put in my heart. I looked for him, and the book says when Aaron saw him, he rejoiced. There never was a time that I was in his presence that I wasn't filled with joy. Never. I love him. And I would have eaten shells. I'm talking about the shells that come out of a tank. Yes, sir. My first Saviours Day, 1956, February. Just a little FOI. Our little mosque was at 5335 South Greenwood Avenue. And Raymond Sharif, our supreme captain, we was in the balcony, he said, there's a threat on the life of the messenger. He said, I'm asking you if you all would like to go out to defend his life, knowing that when you go out, you may not come back. I was the first one standing. You're going to kill a man that we needed, that we were looking for all our life? You're going to kill him? Well, see, I'm not, I ain't no fighter. I'm not that kind of belligerent kind of dude, but if you're going to harm the man I love, then you find a whole new Farrakhan. No. Just think. When Malcolm was assassinated, they said a group was coming out of New York to murder Elijah Muhammad. Raymond Sharif comes again. Said, we need brothers who are willing to stand post and take a bullet. I was the first one on my feet again. Raymond Sharif looked at me and said, oh, brother minister. He said, that's so nice, but you so thin. I knew he didn't understand. You don't stop bullets with fat. You stop a bullet because your mind has the power to make your body like a piece of steel. It ain't got nothing to do with how big you are, how strong you are. It got everything to do with the quality of your faith and your love for what you are trying to protect. I'm almost finished. He called me his Aaron. He sent for me one day. He and John Ali and I can't remember who else was at the table, but I know John was there, he was there, and I was there. And he said these words, my head pains me at night. Sometimes I think I'm going to have a stroke. He says, I called you here to share with you some of my burden. And he told John Ali, I want you to open up the books and show him the finances of the nation, because this is what he will have to do in the future. I'm waiting for him to tell me the burden. And he don't say nothing. He said, you may go back to New York, brother. I'm confused. But then I read in the Quran, he said, expand for me my breast. Loosen the knot in my tongue that they may understand my words. Give me my brother Aaron as a helper and make him to bear my burden. Don't ask him, make him. And Allah answered him and said, your petition is granted. The Quran says, go you both to Pharaoh. Yes, sir. I have given you both a rod and an authority. Well, I was very slow in realizing the burden that he was putting on me. And the burden was his people, you. He tested me in so many ways to see if I had nerve enough to rise against him. Yes, sir. Not once did I ever even think the thought of rebelling against such a magnificent teacher. Now he has departed. And he too looked for a man like Master Farrakhan looked for one. He too looked for one. And before he left, he said these words to me. He said, I didn't make you, brother. I said, oh, yes, you did, dear apostle. He said, no, brother, I didn't make you. And I said, but you did. And he said, who's the teacher here? I said, you are, dear apostle. He said, I gave you the same teaching that I gave everybody else. No one could have shown you how to put the teachings together like you do. He said, I did not make you, brother. Allah made you for me. Wait a minute. I'm not asking for no applause. I don't care nothing about it. I'm making a statement now. And we can take it or let it alone. But there won't be too many more days passed where you will understand we're heading into a period of intense darkness. Bush is like a madman. I mean, think about a man with that kind of power, crazy. Here's a man asking or giving orders to spy on American people without getting a warrant. Though they set up a court in the Justice Department that would be eager to rubber stamp anything that they wanted, yet he went all around that. And then when some of the Republican senators came to him and said, Mr. President, you are violating the Constitution. He said, I'm sick of you all throwing the Constitution in my face. It ain't nothing but a GD piece of paper. Now here's a man that take an oath to defend the Constitution and then says it ain't nothing but a piece of paper. Well, Mr. President, you say you believe in the Bible? Maybe to you that's nothing but a piece of paper. A man losing it, taking the country down. It's becoming a fascist state now. America is leading the world against Islam. Which one will survive? I just left Libya, where we spoke to 220 leaders of Islamic organizations from 87 countries. And to listen to the report of what's happening in the Muslim world. The Shiites won a clear victory in the elections in Iraq, but the Shiites in Iraq are tied to the Shiites in Iran. And America said, we got to have more Sunnis, more Kurds, because we do not want a theocracy. What do you got? You don't want God's rule? You already got the devil's rule. You don't want to give that up for the rule of God? Do you realize that when Farrakhan, not out of a desire to be no leader, I never have seen myself as that. I run from that. But I always saw myself as one who loved Elijah Muhammad and never want to see his name not remembered for the good word that he taught and the good work that he did. And I always say, I'm just a student. But the student is trying to rebuild the work of the teacher. Do we have opposition? Is the government for us? Are the Jews for us? What about some of the Christians? Are they for us? Wait a minute. The Quran says, take not Jews or Christians for friends, for they are friends of each other. Wait a minute, Farrakhan, what are you saying? Well, wait just a minute. Look at the context in which that ayat was revealed. Here were Jews and Christians united to destroy Prophet Muhammad and crush Islam. How in the hell can you take that kind of person for your friend? And now that Islam is rising all over the world, look at these white Christians. And look at the Jews. And some of our black Christian family. in league with the enemy. And hell can we take such a people for a friend? Well, Farrakhan, I thought that you loved our Christian family. I have not shown anything but love. Why did Bush call all the big preachers to the White House when we were trying to create the Millions More movement? Answer me. And why did they go? And what does the Quran say that Pharaoh promised them? Promised these Negro preachers a faith-based initiative of money and nearness to the cracker who've been killing us for 450 years. Is that the price that you want to pay to be near your enemy and against God? Some of my Christian family refuse to walk with me because they don't want to create a movement. If Farrakhan, that Muslim, is in leadership, like I'm striving to be your head. They did everything on the mall. I didn't ask them to search anybody. We didn't search nobody in 1995. We didn't search nobody in 2000. But now everybody that got on the mall, the government set up a search like it was us who were searching people. Long, long lines. We paid $50,000 for every one of those jumbotrons. But you didn't see them all the way down the mall. They were on the other side of the tree line. So that you couldn't see the magnitude of the crowd. They're upset. It may not have been as big as the Million Man March, but it was the next biggest thing that ever was on the mall. Wait a minute, wait a minute. And the minister didn't tell anybody what he was going to say. But I said, we can't depend on white people to look out for us. FEMA not looking out for us. Red Cross not looking out for us. If we don't set up something to look after ourselves, brother, the next calamity will kill many black people with no help. We have to help ourselves. So I mentioned the establishment of some ministries. Ministries? What is that about? Just the beginning of self-government. We need a ministry of defense. We need a ministry of information. We need a ministry of education, science and technology. We need a foreign ministry. The State Department cannot represent us to all the peoples of the world. We have to develop policies that represent us to Africa, to the Caribbean, to Central and South America, to the Isles of the Pacific. We got to stop thinking church and start thinking nation. You are a nation within a nation that has no land, nothing. Well, I'm going to close now. Why would I go out there like that, knowing that the government would be upset? Why would I dare to say that there should be a class action suit against FEMA for criminal negligence for the victims of Katrina? Why would I tell you, don't join no army and fight for an enemy? Get out of that. You gonna fight? Fight for your own freedom. But the army's offering me education. You won't live to get it. Ask your grandfather who was on Guadalcanal, Corregidor, Bataan, the Philippines. Ask Grandpa. The Japanese say to you, same. Same. What you do? Fight for them. We same. And when they had a chance to kill us, they saved us. Ask the brothers that was fighting in Korea. But by the time you got to Vietnam, ain't nobody talking same no more. Because if you still doing the same old stupid thing, you ain't the same. You the same as your enemy, so we kill all of you the same. Now that's real. God is love. Yes, sir. I close. He was willing to leave a comfortable environment to come 9,000 miles to live among us to find Elijah Muhammad. Yes, sir. And what did Elijah Muhammad say of himself? He said, I was so deep in the mud that only my eyes was looking out. But a man that deep in the mud was chosen by God to lift us up. When I decided, with trepidation and some fear, that I wanted to rebuild his work, I had no money. I had no followers. I just had a desire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The people in the Middle East offered me millions of dollars to leave Elijah Muhammad alone and preach Prophet Muhammad. Leave Wallace D. Muhammad alone. Preach Prophet Muhammad. And one Arab said to me, he said, if you do this, Farrakhan, we will back you. And when you pass on, we'll tell the world that you was the Messiah. And they're trying to bribe me, thinking that I'm in this for some exaltation of myself. See, the enemy never wants to give a righteous man righteous motivation. Well, Elijah Muhammad chose me because he knew that I loved you. I've always loved you. And I've given 50 years of my life to fight for our liberation. I have been evil spoken of, but you never hear me speak evil of those who speak evil of me. I defend those who have been enemies of mine. I have power to kill my enemies. I'm not joking, man. I got people around me that if I just pointed you out, you'd be dead before the sun set. But I would never misuse the love that I see that people have for me. I suffer what the people say. I suffer what the scribes write, knowing that in the end, I will be the winner. Now, I'm going to challenge us. I don't want you to tell me that you love your people. Each one of you that are Muslim, you the beneficiaries of somebody's love. Some of you get dressed up in your Sunday go-to-meeting clothes, your little bow tie or straight tie, and walk right by your brother in the street. Won't even knock on the door of your neighbor and invite them to hear what you heard that civilized you. And you gonna tell me you love our people? The light of love in your hearts has a long time gone out. Some of you are some bourgeois Negroes hiding in the Nation of Islam, you wouldn't be caught dead in Ida B. Wells. You wouldn't be caught dead on the West Side. Your hands too clean now to walk in a urine-stenched project house and go in an elevator that you can smell urine to bring the word to your brother. Some of you are scared to death of your own people and got the nerve to put Jesus' name in your mouth. Jesus went where the people were.
That's right.
He went where the sick were. He went where the poor and the destitute were. And through love, he offered them the gift of abundant life.
That's it. That's it.
When I was the minister in New York, every day, after spending hours at my desk, I would come down and hit the streets. 116th Street was where the mosque was, but 115th Street and 114th Street and Lenox Avenue, that's where all the junkies were. That's who I love. Their hands swollen with heroin. But when they reach their hand for mine, I shake their hands and hug them. Junkies would bring their babies and ask me, could you just bless my child? And when the police attacked the mosque, you know who rose up?
Go ahead.
It's the people in the street. You think the people come into the mosque? Hell, they ain't coming here. Well, hell, if they won't come to the mountain.
Go ahead, minister. Set up shop in the project. Yes, sir.
If the mountain won't come to Muhammad, then Muhammad got to go to the mountain.
Yes, sir.
Your job is there with your people, not in no bar room drunk. Well, I'm out there with the people.
Right, right.
Set me up one more time, bartender. I'm grooving at the Blues, the House of Blues. That ain't where it's at. That's your excuse to go back to the old life that you once lived. Why don't you go meet the people in their homes?
Yes, sir.
See what condition they living under.
That's right.
The word got you up out of that.
That's right. That's right.
Hands too clean. You're not willing to go someplace where you don't belong. And it's kind of strange. But your people are there, but the one you say you believe God came in the person of, he went there.
Yes, sir.
And we can't approach his holiness.
Come on now.
But he went there.
Yes, sir.
But you too good to go there. And you let the word love drip from your lips. Hypocrites. Liars. This is the challenge. See? I'm willing to give my life if God calls for it. It's so easy to lay it down for you. I was a musician. I had a promising career.
That's right. Go ahead.
I was no Rudy Poop performer. But when he said,
Come on.
you either give that up or give this up.
Yes, sir.
I gave that up because that was not more important than the truth.
Yes, sir.
Brothers,
Yes, sir.
I never worked day work. I just wasn't good at that. I wanted money as a young boy, so I went to work in a factory one day, and damn, at the end of a few days, they gave me the check. And I looked at that check, and I said, this ain't for me. I can sing one song and get this.
Yes, sir.
So music was my life. I didn't know nothing else. I couldn't draw. I wasn't physically imposing. Tote that barge and lift that bale. That wasn't me. But when I gave all my music up, never knowing what tomorrow was going to bring, but I knew that I had to study this word and help Elijah Muhammad to raise the black man up. If any man would be my disciple, he must first deny himself. That's the first thing I did, was to deny what my first love was. I laid it down. I laid down the life of an entertainer, the life of a musician. And I sold storm windows and doors. I washed dishes. I loaded trucks. I did all kind of menial tasks for a little bit of money so that I could feed my family. I was not too proud to work a job that would allow me to put some food on the table for my children. And God gradually lifted me. What are you willing to give up to help your people? Some of you can't even give up a cigarette for the good of your own life. Some of you can't give up fried food or cheap food. Some of you can't give up an adulterous life if God demands it of you. I'm with you, God, but I'm going to be an adulterer. Yes, sir. I'm with you, God, but I'm going to fornicate. Yes, sir. I'm with you, God, but I'm going to be a lesbian or a homosexual. I'm with you, God. I mean, I love my peoples. But you ain't willing to give up nothing to prove your love for God? Book says, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. That don't leave nothing for nobody else. God wants it all. I like that. And then love your brother as you love yourself. So my question to you is, the truth that has allowed us to pull ourselves up on that truth, to begin the journey to a higher civilized life and to improve our condition mentally, morally, spiritually, and economically. The question is, do we have similar love for our people? Can you leave a comfortable environment and go after your brother or your sister? Can you come out of where you live and go where our people are and bring them up from there? You'll never find a truer friend than the little brother in the street. If you show him that you care, he will not only love you, he'll defend you with his life. Our people are not bad people. They're just not well taught, schooled, guided. They are a beautiful people. So my challenge is, what are you willing to suffer or to sacrifice to help the Honorable Elijah Muhammad raise our people up from where they are? See, I know a demonstration of love, and I've tried to do the same. Yes, sir. Can you look beyond the faults and see the needs of your people? Or are you just going to be one who's always condemning? That nigger this, that nigger. That word should be stricken from the vocabulary, because Master Farrakhan never called us niggers. He said we are the original people. The first in the light of the sun. We are the people of God. If you believe that, then treat the people like you believe. Yes, sir. That they are more than what they show. Because what they show is the manifestation of their ignorance. And if you treat them evilly, you only demonstrate that you have never been raised from a dead level. Do you love your people? Yes, sir. I ain't asking you to answer me with your mouth. I'm not into that. I just want you to think about this. You love them? What are you willing to do to prove it? How many of you came to the mosque today with somebody? Would you stand up, please? That you brought. That you brought. Okay, thank you. Sit down. The rest of you that came, would you stand? I think that's the majority. And the majority rules. Well, you know, minister, it's New Year's Day. Everybody was drunk last night, and I couldn't find nobody. My point. I'm not trying to shame you. I just want you to see that this is your duty. Well, I think I've made my point. Yes, sir. God is love, Sister Claudette. Yes, sir. And the love that God is the love that God did. And if we say we love, then we'll do exactly what God did to show that we love. So, let me just read this from the Bible. Just, pardon me a minute. I had it and closed the book on myself. Look here. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and I have not love, I'm what? As sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I bestow all my good to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not love, don't profit me at all. Some of you ain't getting no profit. Check your love out. Look at this. By this shall all men know that you are my disciples. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, what is that? How will they know you? If you have love one to another. Let's stop right there. See, if you don't love one another, you don't belong to him. You can cut each other down, cut each other up, backbite each other, slander each other, cuss each other out, call this one nigger, MF and all that. See, no. Don't claim Jesus. Leave him out of your mouth. Leave him alone. Leave Muhammad alone. Yes, sir. But if you want to show the world that you truly love Jesus, yes, sir. Yes, that you truly love Muhammad, then show that you love one another. Yes, sir. Well, love is kind. Oh, that's so beautiful, isn't it? How kind are you to one another? Right. Say that. Love is patient. Love is long-suffering. Say that now. Love is not seeking its own. Love ain't going where somebody loves you. But love is always seen going to those who don't have it to share it. Go ahead. Yes, sir. So the scripture says, beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God. And everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. Yes, sir. For God is love. He that loveth not knoweth not God. For God is love. And the commandment we have from him, that he who loveth God must love his brother also. Now you may be, what's the name of some of the gangs? Come out here, brother, since you know all of this. Yeah. Well, yes, sir. What are some of the names of the gang? Four Corner Hustlers. Oh, okay. Gangster Disciples. Vice Lords. Latin Kings. Conservative Vice Lords. Traveling Vice Lord. Liberal Vice Lord? No. BD. What's BD mean? Oh, Black Disciples. Oh, BD. Yeah, okay. What else?
Black Souls.
Black Souls. El Rookin, Black Stone. Black Peace Stone. MCs. Man, there's a lot of gangs here. Now look, but all of you are brothers of each other. So would you let your gang affiliation or your gang signs or your gang colors blind you to your brother who's sitting next to you, who's black like you, who caught hell like you, who suffered like you, whose parents suffered, whose grandparents suffered from the enemy, and now you gonna let where you live make you an enemy of somebody who lives somewhere else, but you the same people? I just was blessed to say the burial of Stan Tookie Williams, the co-founder of the Crips. I close. Tookie Williams was one of the finest men that I've had the privilege of meeting in my life. I met him on death row. I first heard a tape. And when I heard his voice and heard what he was saying, tears welled up in my eyes, and I had to go and see him. And when I went to the prison, my brother came down shackled. He was in a cage with me, and he had to reach his hand through a hole so that they could unshackle his hands, so that we could embrace each other as brothers. And I listened to him, and he listened to me, and I saw a man redeemed. And no preacher went in there to preach to him. Then no Muslim go in there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then no family member go in there to redeem him. But a man spent 6 years in solitary confinement. And from the depth of hell, like Jonah,
Yes, sir.
in the belly of the fish, he cried out.
Yes, sir.
And God touched him. I never heard Stan Tookie Williams talk about religion. He talked about spirituality. He had outgrown preachers. He had outgrown dogma. He had outgrown the narrow strictures of denominationalism, sectarianism, and these religious thoughts that pit one against the other. He had risen far above that. They killed our brother. Because he was a born leader. Chief Malik is in prison. Larry Hoover is in prison because they're the worst people in the world. they have the ability to organize black men. That's dangerous to the oppressor. When I was in the church on Easter Sunday, we sang this song. It goes like this. I'm not going to sing, I'm just going to say the words. The strife is o'er, the battle done. The victory of life is won. All glory to that risen Son. Hallelujah. And when I thought of Stan Tookie Williams, see, the last words that he spoke to us on tape, he said, I am at peace with myself. I have conquered the demons of myself. See, the strife is over. The battle is done. I put under me now my own demons. So the song says, the strife is o'er, the battle done, the victory of life is won. He said, I have chosen life over death. All glory to this risen Son. See, he has risen from the death of ignorance and gang violence. And the lady that was closest to him before he died, he called her in his, where he was, before they moved him to stay right next to the chamber where they would kill him. He gave her some words to say. And those words are found in the final call. He said, in words, they're going to kill me tonight. He said, but I want the world to know I die, not a man of war, but a man of peace. He refused any last meal. He wanted no preacher to come say nothing to him. And he was not going to give the warden any last words. He gave it to that sister. I understand that Tavis Smiley interviewed him. And they asked him, is there any preacher that you would want to be with you? And he said, no. He said, there's no one? He said, well, if anyone, it would be Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, for me, to have the ear of kings and rulers and have the love of those of my family who are locked down on death row says it all. They know that I love them. Because if I didn't love them, I wouldn't be kicking white folks behind over us. Y'all know that I say things that you scared to even think. And I'm the brother that will march into hell for a heavenly cause. Believe that. Because I've already shown you that. I have never bowed to the enemy. And by the grace of God, die before I bow to anyone but God and his Christ. Farrakhan, when I talk about Christians, I'm not talking about my brother here. He strives to be a true disciple of Christ. I am not talking about this kind of Christian. I'm talking about a man like Pat Robertson, who, when a black man or a brown man does something that displeases him, he comes out of his mouth with murder. That's the kind of Christian I'm talking about that can't be our friends. I'm talking about Jews that claim to be the people of God, but are leading the world in shame and filth and degeneracy and debauchery. The synagogue of Satan. We cannot have them as any friend. I'm talking about a president who claims Jesus Christ, but went to war on the basis of a lie, and robbed and raped the treasuries of the American people of over $350 billion and gave it to his friends. And he's standing there bold, defiant. That's the kind of mind that Pharaoh had before God brought him all the way down. I love you, brothers and sisters. And I'm willing to give my life to see you free. I've never been jealous or envious of no man. Because whatever gift you have, I know where it came from. And when I see you demonstrating your gift, I give the praise to God, and I thank him for depositing such a gift in you. And I'm saying to all of you who claim to be my helpers, yes, sir. If you see somebody coming up with ability, come on. And you freeze them. Yes, sir. Come on. If you begin to think cheap, like somebody stealing your thunder, come on. If you can't recognize somebody that is better than you and give God the praise. When I say better, I used to run fast, but there were dudes that could run faster. So I might have won a few little championships, but them big dudes ran me down. Yes, sir. Well, I mean, they're just better runners. Man, that ain't my thing. I did the best I could. I didn't have nothing to be ashamed of. Ray Charles can't sing like Pavarotti, but Pavarotti can't sing like Ray Charles. Take what God gives you. That's his gift to you. Develop it, man. Don't be envious of nobody, because wherever there's envy, there is not love. Thank you for listening. May Allah bless you all as I greet you in peace. Registered Muslims, hang with me for a few more minutes after our guests leave. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sister Georgia Muhammad, the store manager here at Your Supermarket. And on behalf of Student Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad, I wanted to invite you into your supermarket and make your purchase for your canned goods. As you can see, we have the canned navy beans, we have canned black beans, we have canned carrots. We also have crushed tomatoes, and these are 32-ounce cans, okay? Now also we have 32-ounce red potatoes. We have spinach, we have yellow squash, and we have corn, okay? So I want you to feel free to give us a call here. Place your order for case quantities. Case quantities of $41.99 plus shipping. Call me anytime. I'll be happy to accept your order, okay? You can give us a call here at the supermarket. That telephone number is going to be 470-305-7910. Again, that telephone number is 470-305-7910. Thank you so much, and we look forward to serving you here at your supermarket. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Saviours, Helper supporters, what's going on? This is Farad Abdul Salim Muhammad of the Saviours Helper channel. We're so grateful that you tuned in. We're going to have a great 2021 just like 2020, which was kind of paramount like for our channel thanks to you and your support. We raised over $1,250 for the Nation of Islam through the proceeds of our tops like the one you see me wearing right now that you can get at saviorshelper.com. We have several flavors, several styles for MGT, FOY, and all supporters, so everybody can buy one of these. Are support edition shirts. So if you support the Nation of Islam, we want you to get one of these, alright? Hey, what can we say? We're going to have a great year thanks to you, our supporters. We've had some ups and downs here and there, but that's alright because you expect that when you're at war. You got to duck sometime, you know what I mean? But you never run. And the race, as we say, is always to those who endure to the end, not the swift. And thank you, all of you, for getting through all the curves and all the challenges with us, alright? We got more videos coming. In fact, upcoming in November, we're going to be dealing with cancer. We have a special presentation. I can't tell you who the guest or guests will be on this show, but you know how we do. We always got some surprises for you. But we're going to be dealing with cancers, the three cancers, the cancer that we know of, like lung cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, right? But then you have the spiritual cancer that also affects us as individuals. And then we have the global cancer, otherwise known as white supremacy, which we're going to be dealing with as well. Man, we got a great show coming up for y'all, man. So definitely subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Let the people know that Saviours Helpers not playing. We are definitely all Saviours Helpers. As long as you keep Allah and His messenger in your heart and you do the work, that's who you are. Do it. Anyway, thank you. Peace.
Have I forgotten the feeling of dark matter, manifesting in the most intricate spaces? Traces and remnants of our love pepper our memories, vaguely recalling in our minds a time when we fit together like lock and key, complementing each other like moon and sea. We poked holes in the sky to let our light shine through, danced among the space because this place was made for me and you. We could dominate this place, set ablaze our love and create stars and quasars with the embers, but we've forgotten who we are, so how can we create what we don't remember?